They're schemers. Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
Who knows where, you can trace the original sin back, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, whether it was the creation of the Federal Reserve, whether it was when we delinked from gold, whether it was the 1986, Plaza Accords, whether it was the 2000 .com, whether it was the 2008 financial crisis. There's lots of places where you could kind of trace this back to, and who initially started it. But the bottom line is we have a system that is inherently unstable. And when I say that, it's based on trust. And once trust is gone, the design itself comes into question, or the system itself comes into question because of the design. Now, I don't have time to go through the whole way the system is designed right now, but losing trust is what causes these bank runs. And the problem is that then once trust starts to get shaky, the governments, the monetary authorities will come in and they will make these rule changes, or they will put these new programs in place, and they think they're trying to shore up confidence. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But what almost always happens, even if it works, what almost always happens is the unintended consequences that these people who don't operate in the real world and only operate on a spreadsheet aren't ready for. And so, and that's what we're dealing with now. Now, all over Europe, other people are saying, well, holy cow, if that bank went bankrupt and my bonds weren't protected, what happens when the next one? I don't want to hold these bonds, and so now that will lead to a crisis. In the US, we bailed out, Silicon Valley Bank, which was a big bank. And then a couple of days later, Janet Yellen says, well, I don't know if we're going to bail out the small Oklahoma bank. We might, but we don't know. So if you're a small Oklahoma bank, are you going to keep your deposits there? Are you going to move? So that will have unintended consequences. And at the end of the day, the global economy is too big and too complex for 12 people sitting in a room to manage. But these 12 people are arrogant enough to think that they can do it. And they have a lot of power. And so that's why you got to kind of keep your head and be ready for all these unintended consequences, because they've built this Rube Goldberg machine that is inherently unstable. And every time something breaks, rather than dismantle it and build it up with a solid foundation, they put a new pulley on, they put a new ramp on, they tie some string to it. And it might work for a little bit, but it's going to break at some point. And we're kind of seeing that now.